Coercive measures don't work and have never worked anywhere in the world. The only country that did coercive population policies was China, but China also is not a democracy. India is a democracy. I feel if I was anywhere in the government, politically in UP, I would not have brought out this bill for public domain. I would have dismissed it as a worthless piece of paper. A draft bill, they call it, that has been put out by the UP Law Commission, obviously at the request of the UP government, which has, it's not really a bill, it's two lists of disincentives and incentives. And they have been amazingly creative with ideas that they have put in the two-child norm incentives and disincentives, which nobody in the world will even dream of doing. And especially in India, for example, in the incentives, they've got something called something where they say that a point which says 12 months leave paternity and 12 months leave maternity for everyone who has a one child. I have several things to say about that. In a country where there's no social security and 85% of the population is in the informal sector, women especially, how are we talking about this as an incentive that will impact large numbers? In any case, it is the poor women who don't have access to family planning services or the agency that have a lot more children, the middle class. I feel if I was anywhere in the government, politically in UP, I would not have brought out this bill for public domain. I would have dismissed it as a worthless piece of paper. Coercive measures don't work and have never worked anywhere in the world. In fact, there is an affidavit by the Nirman Bhavan, which is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, central government, to the Supreme Court. As I said, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has given brilliant data as well as rationale to not bring in the two-child norm. In fact, they have said in that, I'm rephrasing, coercion has not worked anywhere. The only country that did coercive population policies was China, but China also is not a democracy. India is a democracy. And as a democracy, when there were forced sterilizations in India during emergency, we know the result. India has 16.4 million abortions every year, and most of them are proxy for contraception. Women who don't wish to have more children, and the data also shows that Indian women, government data, do not wish to have more than 2 children. So when people don't want more children, people need access to family planning. It's a simple demand-supply issue and access issue. Secondly, literacy and enhanced income or employment has led to, is what determines the number of kids you will have. And there is globally and in India, as in literacy increases for women, family planning and the number of kids they have increases, because family planning is an issue about not just access, agency too. So if the government really wants to stabilize population, which we too want, why don't they do what is tested, tried globally, And why are they doing which has failed in China and in India? All politicians across party lines, it's not just BJP or NDA, do not understand that India is not China, which is the only country that has done two-child norm, first one child, then two-child, and now three-child. They gave it up because they found the consequences very adverse of a two-child or one-child policy where sex ratios went up. Because China, like India, is a society that has a son preference. But in India, we not only have son preference, but we have daughter aversion. So, and as fertility is declining, even secularly, people are practicing sex selection, and there's a huge decline. There's a huge adverse sex ratio we see today. By the year, by the whenever census or NFHS comes out, we see each time an adverse situation. Why will we want more sex selective abortions in India? Why will we want skewed balance? That in 1994, 89 countries were signatories to the draft plan of action, ICPD, where India was one of the first signatories, and India played a major role when the document was being finalized. This was a meeting in Cairo, and a historic document was released. One of the strong aspects, and I would say the headlines, was from the draft plan of action. The plan of action of ICPD was that no country will ever practice either incentives or disincentives. Even incentives distort. And the Indian example, only 0.3% of men get sterilized. And why? Even though they get incentives. So incentives don't really work, and they get, the reason is that men think their virility will be impacted. So government is also suggesting increase in, the government of UP is also suggesting increase in vasectomy, the incentive. You know, Indian men have put so much premium on their virility, therefore they don't get sterilized, they don't use condoms. Only 6% of men use condoms, and the reason given by men is that the pleasure decreases. So are they going to sell their virility for some 2,000, 3,000 rupees of incentives? First thing, access to family planning services for the most marginalized and to their doorstep. They shouldn't have to go 5 hours away from their village. Number 2, sterilization cannot be our main course of family planning supply. It has to be multiple temporary methods, because we have a very young population at a reproductive health, who are at a stage in their reproductive health where they are going to have X number of children. For them to be able to plan and have smaller families, we need to do first sex education and then make temporary methods available. We need to spend more money on temporary methods. India spends a meager amount on temporary methods. Even the new method, injectable, we introduced, we don't have money to supply beyond a small number. So we have to invest more money in family planning. Let me tell you, the cost of inaction in family planning will be huge. It is a supply side, but while empowering women to be able to make the choice of going to primary health care, the public health system, which the rich go to the private sector and the poor go to the public health sector. And secondly, when you educate women, and let me tell you, that is the route Sri Lanka took. They kept girls in school, they educated their girls, the highly literate girls had fewer children, and that was their one-point strategy. While Bangladesh, Indonesia, and many other countries have introduced choice. And when you introduce choice, especially for women, you're empowering them, which they can take the decision on their own.
We are truthful, unafraid, and independent because of you. Now you can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click Become a Member tab, choose a plan and pay. Because the truth is worth it.